My favorite part for competitive Vanguard has finally gotten more details revealed for the rest of this year, which is the Bushiroad Championship Series 2018. For those of you that are new players, this is a solo tournament, so essentially you go to these regional tournaments where there's a lot of locations. We're going to take a look at them in this video actually, and you basically compete one against one, and then the top players get invited to the World Finals in Japan later in the year, or actually beginning of the next year. Usually it's like beginning of January. But so this year, the BCS, as it is abbreviated, is going to be split up into 5 tournaments with Vanguard Standard, Vanguard Premium, and then the other 3 Bushiroad games, which are Vice Schwartz, BuddyFight, and Dragoborn. So if you don't already know, Standard is where you play with just the new cards, and then Premium is where you can mix both the new cards and the old cards. So Standard is better for the new folks, and Premium is better for the people that have been playing for a while. So now in this video, we're just going to go over the details that we know for this, well, tournament essentially for the entire BCS. And then if people do want me to, I am willing to make a video talking about the basics that you need to know going into one of these events, because I've already had a lot of people asking me like, oh, what should I bring? What should I do? You know, what's important when going into one of these? What should I watch out for? So if you want me to do one of those videos, I'm definitely, you know, I can easily do one of them, because I've done something in the past actually that's very similar, called the Road to Worlds, so you can check that out. But I think some of the information is quite dated, but you can still check it out if you want to. But regardless, in this video, we're going to just go over the various details that we have, and that's it. So in terms of the format, it is individual, as I mentioned before, and so before top 8, so during the preliminary rounds, it's going to be Swiss, meaning that you keep playing until you don't want to, essentially, and then the players with the best scores are going to proceed to the best 8, and so it's going to depend on how many people there are. You know, in some tournaments, you can have 2 losses in the Swiss rounds, and then you can still get to top 8, but in some tournaments, you really need to have like only 1 loss or even 0 losses. So it definitely does get quite hard. And then as always, top 8 will be single elimination, as is usual. All the other information is more or less the same as always, except for one very cool thing, is that there will now be an extra prize. So to celebrate the launch of the new Vanguard series, every person that participates in a regional will get an exclusive pack of sleeves, which is this Blaster Blade sleeves, but you can see in the bottom left of the BCS logo. So this makes it the first ever tournament exclusive English sleeve. So I'm super excited about this. I've always wanted them. I always collect the Japanese tournament exclusive sleeves because to me they're just the coolest thing ever. So I really do want to get these, and you know, it just makes me really excited. On top of that, every single participant will receive hot stamped promo cards depending on the game that they play. So you can see here for Standard it's going to be Wingle, for Premium it's going to be the old Conroe, and then Vice, BuddyFight, and Dragoborn aren't relevant to this video, but you can see them here as well. And on top of that, every participant also gets a deck box. So you get one for Standard with Aichi on it, but for Premium you get Chrono and Kazuma. For Vice we get the Guren Lagann one, which unfortunately I don't play English Vice, so I'm gonna have to ask someone to pick that up for me. And then there's the BuddyFight and Dragoborn ones as well. Then, so that's just for participating, but then the top 8 players for Vanguard, BuddyFight, and Vice, and top 4 for Dragoborn will get the following playmats. So for Standard we have a Blaster Blade mat. For Premium we have a Chronojet Z mat, for Vice there's the Apocrypha mat, and then for BuddyFight it's the new Ace series mat, and then for Dragoborn I don't play it, so I don't actually know what this mat is. But so these are the mats that you can actually get for being top 8, so if you come to top 8 you're going to get an amazing mat that you can bring to future events to show off that you really were one of the best players in that region. Then the top 4 players will get a certificate, which is basically just a beautiful piece of paper that's part of your bragging rights. Then top 3 all receive a medal, and then also an unsponsored invitation to the World Finals for first and second runner-ups. So second place and third place will get an invitation to the finals, but they have to pay for it themselves. But honestly, this is really worth it, because even if you come second or third, the experience of being at World Finals, like I was there last year as a commentator, but the experience of being there and talking with everyone and meeting people from all over the world is honestly something that you can never feel otherwise, and it's such an amazing experience. So I think even if you come second or third, it's definitely worth a try and go for it, because even if you can't afford it yourself, maybe you and your team or your friends can try to like put in a little bit together just to send you to the finals, because honestly I think it's definitely worth it to try and go. It's a really unforgettable experience. experience, and it's only going to be in January when the flight tickets are going to be a little bit cheaper, so it's a bit cheaper to go to Japan as a whole, as well as to find hotels. So I think honestly, if you do come second or third, I highly recommend trying to go for it, because I think it's definitely worth it. It's an unforgettable experience, and it was for me, and I think it will be for anyone going in the future as well. And then the first place, the champion of each regional, will receive the sponsored invitation to the World Finals, so they will be paid, their flight will be paid, and their hotel will be paid, and then you get a promo. So for standard, you get the VR Alfred with the hot stamp, and these are also like SP foiling, so it's really nice. And then you get the waterfall for premium, and then you get the following 3 for Vice, Buddy Fight, and Dragoborn. So that's it for prizes and all these little, important little details. Now we're going to go over the dates and the locations. So we're going to go over NA first, and there's quite a few locations. Some of them haven't been announced yet, so just check the website. I'll put it in the description for when it updates. And also, we don't know which game, or like which game will be on which event, because they usually split up like Vice and Buddy Fight, and maybe they'll split up Standard and Premium, or maybe they'll put Premium and Standard together, and then the other events on a different day. So we'll see how they do that. But for Chicago, you have the 25th and 26th of August. And then for New Jersey is the 1st and 2nd of September, so just the week after. And then 2 weeks after that, you have the Texas Regionals. And then another week after that, you have the Canada Richmond Regionals. And then after that are the Atlanta Regionals 2 weeks after that. And then another 2 weeks after that are the Toronto Regionals in Canada. And finally, in California, in Anaheim. I think this is actually the Kara Expo USA, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be part of the Kara Expo that you're going to have this event for, which is going to be in mid-November. And then the 2 events that we don't have dates or locations for yet are Mexico and Hawaii, but check the website and then it should normally be up eventually. Now for Europe, which is what, concerns me the most, we have a new location in London for 22nd and 23rd September. This is pretty big. Apparently this venue doesn't open until next month, but it should be a pretty nice venue, and I think it's honestly amazing, especially for us Europeans, to be able to go straight to London, because how it's always been on Huddersfield, it's kind of annoying because we have to fly to London and then we have to like find some way to get to Huddersfield or wherever, or Cardiff or wherever it is. So now that it's in London, we can just fly straight to London, crash at a hotel, and go to the event. So I think, I think overall it's a good idea to have it there. And I think as far as I know, in the UK, they've had regionals all over, England, or well, the UK in general, because it's also been in Wales, obviously, but it's been all over the place. It's been in Manchester in the past too, so I think having it in London is a nice little change of pace. We'll see how many people come, but I think there'll be quite a lot of, just mainland Europeans as well. Then 6th and 7th October, we have the Cologne Regionals. This is the same venue as always. I've made videos of this place as well. It's a great venue. There's always a lot of international folks there, like I've met Australian folks, American folks, so it's really a good place to be, but I think I'll have to choose between London and Germany for this one. Then we have one in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven, which we haven't had before, so I think that's quite cool. Here the location is actually mistaken. It says Huddersfield, which is, part of the UK, so I think they're going to change that later on, but it's going to be in mid-October, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going to this one because it's quite easy for me to get there. Then there's the one in Athens at the end of October, and then there's the one in Huddersfield at the beginning of November, and then in Portugal, which is a really nice fresh addition. It's going to be in Lisbon, and I think I might even go to this one, or at least like I would love to go to this, so I'm going to try to, because we have direct flights from Luxembourg to Portugal, so I think I might try to like get some friends and we just go together, because it honestly looks like it might be a fun time, and I'm really happy I've met a lot of Portuguese fighters as of recent, and they've all been really amazing, so I'm really happy to hear that, Portugal finally got something like this, so I think it's really nice. And then finally, France would be in Paris, and as always, basically, the location and the dates are to be announced, so we'll see that later on. Finally, for Asia and Oceania, we have Singapore towards the end of September, and then Indonesia, Jakarta in mid-October, and then Philippines in Manila at the beginning of November, and then Australia, Melbourne At first it said Sydney, but it is Melbourne, and it's going to be on the first weekend, I believe, of December. And then the 3 that are yet to be announced are Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Philippines in Cebu, and the one in New Zealand. So those will all be updated later on, so make sure you check the website for more details. That's actually it for the regional. There is the shop challenges, but you can check that on the website because it's already old news, so I think most of you already know about it. But I just wanted to talk about this because I think a lot of things are really nice, like especially in Europe we have a lot of new locations, which is pretty nice, and I think the new prizes, like, you know, the promos look good, the mats look good, and especially the sleeves. The fact that we're getting sleeves while stocks last is going to be really cool, so I'm very happy about that. So that's going to be it for me today. This was a pretty relaxed video that I just wanted to get out and talk about today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which regionals you're planning to go to, or you know, what you're happy about, what you were a bit frustrated about, or whichever it may be, because I'm sure we have a little bit of everything in the community. So on that note, do make sure to click the bell button, as well as check out the social medias in the description and join the Discord channel if you haven't already. But that's going to be it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.